365 days from now, you will arrive somewhere. The question is not whether time will move. It will. The question is who you will be when it does. Picture the date exactly 1 year from today. The seasons have turned. The calendar has surrendered its pages. Will you stand taller, wealthier, calmer, more certain? Or will you whisper the same sentence you have whispered before? This year slipped away. Time does not negotiate. It does not slow for confusion. It does not reward good intentions. It magnifies decisions. Most men drift through a year as though it were endless. They begin January with emotion and end December with explanation. They set aims without defining them. They desire without organizing. They hope without deciding. And when the year closes, they call it bad luck. It was not luck. It was a lack of a roadmap. You were not born to wander from Monday to Monday. You were born with the capacity to choose a definite chief aim and march toward it with discipline. Yet no one showed you how to compress a lifetime of wandering into a single year of directed growth. Imagine this. It is early morning. The house is quiet. You sit with a written aim before you, clear, measurable, burning with desire. You read it aloud. You see it. You feel it. You organize your day around it. Every action bends toward that one direction. Now multiply that by 365. That is how destinies are built, not in miracles, but in mapped days. You have been told to follow your passion, but passion without structure fades. You have been told to trust the process, but without a defined plan, there is no process to trust. You have been encouraged to dream, but rarely commanded to design. A year is long enough to change your income, long enough to rebuild your body, long enough to restore your marriage, long enough to become unrecognizable to those who doubted you, but only if you obey law. Here is the truth most avoid. If you repeat the same habits for the next 365 days, you will live the same life. Drift repeated becomes destiny. Excuses repeated become identity. Delay repeated becomes regret. Ignore this, and next year will feel strangely familiar. But if you follow a precise roadmap, if you divide the year into seasons of decision, persistence, organized planning, and auto-suggestion, you can compress decades of growth into 12 disciplined months. Consider what happens when a man writes his aim and reads it morning and night. His subconscious begins to accept it. His attention filters for opportunity. His mind rejects distractions that do not serve it. His associates begin to shift. His habits reorganize. This is not accident. It is law. Every great achievement I have studied followed a roadmap. The man may not have called it that, but he lived it. He fixed his purpose. He planned in detail. He acted daily. He persisted when results delayed. And he refused alternatives. That is how 1 year becomes legendary. Ask yourself honestly, if you gave 12 months to a single burning aim without retreat, what would be impossible? Most men never test this. They divide their power among dozens of half-desires. They scatter their attention. They dilute their force. Then they wonder why progress crawls. But concentrated effort over 365 days can alter your entire direction. This is not about working endlessly. It is about working definitively. It is about waking each day with command rather than confusion. It is about measuring progress, correcting error, and persisting regardless of temporary defeat. 1 year. Not someday, not eventually, not when conditions improve. 1 year of obedience to a written purpose. If you listen carefully, I will show you how to structure that year, how to begin with decision, anchor it with faith, reinforce it with repetition, and execute it with organized planning. A roadmap that transforms vague ambition into daily action. But understand this before we proceed. This is not for the curious, it is for the committed. If you seek entertainment, you will find none. If you seek instruction and are willing to obey, the next 365 days can become the most decisive period of your life. A year from now, you will either thank yourself or explain yourself. Choose wisely. Because the life you were meant to live is not waiting for luck. It is waiting for a plan. If you would live the life you were meant to live within 365 days, you must begin where most men hesitate, with selection. The first month of the year must not be consumed by scattered action. It must be devoted to decision, not casual preference, not hopeful intention. Decision. Most years fail before they begin because the man has not chosen what shall govern them. He enters January with enthusiasm but without direction. He desires improvement in income, health, influence, relationships, knowledge, all at once. He divides his power among too many ambitions. He mistakes motion for advancement. And by spring he is fatigued without result. Energy divided weakens. Energy concentrated multiplies. The first 30 days are sacred. They are the period in which you choose the one aim that shall command the year. Not 3 aims, not 5. 1. This does not deny that you may improve in many areas. It simply establishes hierarchy. When one chief purpose governs, other improvements align beneath it naturally. Andrew Carnegie did not build an empire by chasing every opportunity. He selected steel as his vehicle and subordinated other interests. That selection conserved his strength. It sharpened his attention. It simplified decision. You must do the same. Sit alone, close the door, lay aside the noise of opinion. Ask yourself a single question. If I were to devote 365 days without retreat to one dominant objective, which would alter my entire direction? Write the answer plainly. Do not embellish it. Do not make it poetic. Make it exact. If it concerns income, state the definite sum you intend to earn within the year. If it concerns influence, define the position or responsibility you will secure. If it concerns personal development, specify the measurable change. Vagueness dissolves power. Clarity concentrates it. Many men resist fixing a definite aim because definiteness invites accountability. When the aim is written in ink, excuses lose shelter. Delay becomes visible. That visibility is uncomfortable. But discomfort is cheaper than regret. During these first 30 days, your task is not to act widely. It is to think accurately, to determine what you will exchange for the attainment of your aim, to decide how many hours per day you shall dedicate to it, to establish the date upon which you intend to see its realization. Edwin C. Barnes did not say, "I would enjoy association with Edison." He said, in effect, "I will become his associate." His declaration preceded his opportunity. That is the power of selection. When you choose your chief aim and write it clearly, something changes in your bearing. You cease wandering in conversation. You stop entertaining distractions. You no longer speak in uncertain phrases. Others will notice. They may not understand the source of the change, but they will sense firmness. They will hear conviction in your tone. They will detect seriousness in your expression. A man governed by a clear aim appears different from a man exploring possibilities. He stands differently, he speaks differently, and he decides more quickly. Let this affirmation guide your first month. This year bends to my chief purpose. I have chosen it. I have written it. I govern my days by it. Speak it morning and night after reading your written aim aloud. Reading aloud is not ceremony. It is instruction to the subconscious mind. Words spoken with emotion imprint themselves more deeply than words merely thought. During these first 30 days, you will experience resistance. Your mind, accustomed to variety, will tempt you with alternate ambitions. Friends may offer suggestions. Circumstances may shift. You may question whether you have chosen wisely. Remain steady. It is better to pursue one imperfect aim with constancy than to pursue 10 admirable aims with inconsistency. A man once approached me distressed by lack of progress. He possessed talent. He possessed education. Yet he changed direction every few months. Each new opportunity excited him briefly. None received sustained devotion. After 1 year of choosing a single objective and refusing alternatives, his advancement exceeded the previous 5 years combined. This is how you compress time. You eliminate the years lost to indecision. The first 30 days must also establish emotional attachment to your aim. Desire must burn, not as momentary excitement, but as sustained interest. To strengthen desire, imagine yourself already in possession of your objective. See the environment, hear the conversation, feel the satisfaction. This image must not remain idle. It must influence conduct. When you read your aim each morning, pause and visualize its fulfillment. Let gratitude arise as though the result were already yours. Then rise and arrange your day in harmony with it. This repetition conditions belief. Belief influences action. Action produces evidence. The broken pattern of drift ends in this first month. You will discover that when one aim governs, decisions simplify. Invitations are evaluated by their relation to your purpose. Expenditures are measured against it. Associations are selected according to it. Your life acquires shape. Shape produces confidence. Confidence attracts opportunity. Others begin to treat you differently because you treat yourself differently. You do not apologize for your direction. You do not explain it excessively. You simply proceed. The first 30 days are foundation. If you neglect them, the remaining 11 months will lack cohesion. If you honor them, the remaining months will build upon solid ground. 1 year of such discipline can redirect an entire life. 10 years of wandering can be replaced by 12 months of definiteness. Say your affirmation once more. This year bends to my chief purpose. Let those words settle. You were not meant to drift from Monday to Monday. You were meant to direct your days with intention. The life you were meant to live begins not with luck, but with selection. And selection must occur now. Once the chief aim has been chosen and written, the year stands at a crossroads. Many men stop at decision. They believe that desire alone will carry them forward. It will not. Desire is fire, but fire without containment burns wildly and soon exhausts itself. The next 60 days must be devoted to building the structure that carries desire safely and steadily toward achievement. If the first 30 days were for choosing the destination, these 60 are for laying the rails upon which the train must travel. Most men fail not from lack of ambition, but from lack of arrangement. They rise each morning with intention, yet their hours are claimed by habit. They react rather than direct. They attend rather than advance. Structure replaces reaction with command. Begin by dividing your chief aim into measurable components. If your aim is financial, determine the monthly increase required. If it concerns mastery of a profession, determine the chapters to be studied, the skills to be practiced, the contacts to be made. Break the large aim into smaller definite acts. Large ambition intimidates the unprepared mind. Small defined tasks strengthen it. Henry Ford did not assemble a motor car in a single motion. He arranged parts in sequence. He organized production. He insisted upon order. That order made repetition possible. Repetition made scale possible. So it must be with your year. During these 60 days, assign definite hours to your chief aim. Choose a period each day that is sacred. It may be early morning before interruption. It may be evening when quiet returns, but it must be fixed. A fixed hour eliminates negotiation. If you leave your effort to convenience, convenience will rarely appear. When the hour arrives, you act, not because you feel inspired, but because you have arranged it. This habit alone can save years of scattered effort. Next, establish a weekly review. At the close of each week, examine what was done, not what was intended, not what was imagined, what was executed. Separate fact from feeling. It is easy to say, I worked hard. It is more powerful to say, I completed 5 defined actions that advanced my aim. Facts instruct. Feelings fluctuate. Keep a written ledger of your progress. When you see advancement in ink, belief strengthens. When you see delay in ink, correction becomes possible. This practice prevents self-deception. Many men allow months to pass without honest examination. They assume progress because they have been busy. Busy is not the same as productive. The next 60 days must also include the organization of knowledge. What information is required to achieve your aim? What skills must be sharpened? What counsel must be sought? Organized knowledge is power. Scattered information is distraction. Andrew Carnegie surrounded himself with men whose knowledge exceeded his own in specific fields. He did not attempt to know everything. He organized knowledge through cooperation. You must organize yours through deliberate study and association. Eliminate trivial engagements. You will discover quickly that many activities once considered harmless consume valuable hours. Conversations that lead nowhere. Obligations that produce no advancement. Habits that weaken energy. Structure demands elimination. Not all elimination is dramatic. Some is quiet. You simply decline what does not serve your purpose. Others may notice the change. They may remark that you are less available. They may sense discipline in your schedule. Some may misunderstand. Let them. The life you were meant to live will not be built upon universal approval. Let this affirmation accompany your arrangement. My days are arranged in service of my chief aim. I act at the appointed hour. I measure my progress honestly. Speak it before beginning your daily task. You will encounter resistance. There will be mornings when fatigue tempts you to delay. There will be evenings when distraction beckons. But structure exists precisely for such moments. It carries you when emotion weakens. Within 60 days of disciplined arrangement, something becomes evident. Your mind grows calmer. When hours are organized, confusion diminishes. You no longer ask, what should I do next? The answer has been predetermined. Predetermination conserves energy. Energy conserved can be applied more powerfully. Others begin to observe reliability in you. They see that you keep appointments with yourself. They notice that your speech is aligned with action. Trust grows. Trust is capital. When opportunity appears, it seeks the prepared. A man who has arranged his year systematically appears prepared. His records demonstrate seriousness. His conduct reflects stability. 2 months of structure can accomplish what 2 years of hopeful wandering cannot. You will begin to see small results, perhaps modest increase in income, perhaps improvement in skill, perhaps renewed confidence. These are not accidents. They are the fruits of arrangement. As results appear, enthusiasm returns naturally. But do not relax structure because of early success. Continue measuring, continue refining. Structure is not prison, and it is pathway. The next 60 days are not glamorous. They are mechanical. Yet within that mechanics lies transformation. Desire without structure fades. Desire with structure advances. Say your affirmation once more. My days are arranged in service of my chief aim. Let those words remind you that a year is not lived in abstraction. It is lived in days, and days, when arranged deliberately, become instruments of destiny. By the time 100 days have passed, the novelty of decision has faded. The excitement of beginning has cooled. The structure has been tested by routine. It is here, in the middle stretch of the year, that most men quietly surrender. They do not announce defeat. They merely loosen their grip. They skip the morning reading of their aim. They shorten the sacred hour. They permit small excuses to multiply. They tell themselves they will regain intensity tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes repetition. If you would live the life you were meant to live within 365 days, you must master the middle. The middle 120 days are devoted to strengthening what I shall call the inner climate. For just as crops depend upon climate, achievement depends upon mental atmosphere. You have built structure. Now you must protect belief. The 6 ghosts of fear will return during this season. Fear of poverty may whisper when income has not yet reached expectation. Fear of criticism may arise when others question your discipline. Fear of failure may attempt to reinterpret temporary delay as permanent limitation. These whispers must not be entertained. You must not merely repeat your aim. You must repeat it with emotion and certainty. Read it morning and night. See it clearly. Feel gratitude as though it were already accomplished. Repetition is not childish. Repetition is conditioning. The subconscious mind accepts what is impressed upon it frequently with feeling. If you do not impress your aim upon it deliberately, the world will impress doubt upon it accidentally. In the middle of the year, gratitude becomes a powerful ally. When you pause each evening to note what has improved, even modestly, you reinforce faith. You remind yourself that progress is occurring, even if quietly. Without gratitude, you focus only on distance yet to travel. With gratitude, you notice distance already covered. I have seen men abandon their purpose in the 6th month because they expected dramatic transformation. They underestimated the quiet accumulation of daily obedience. Edison performed thousands of experiments before producing the result he sought. He did not interpret repetition as futility. He interpreted it as refinement. That interpretation preserved his inner climate. During these 120 days, guard your associations carefully. Negative conversation spreads like cold wind. If you permit yourself to dwell among those who mock discipline or belittle ambition, your own temperature will fall. Seek harmonious counsel. If discouragement appears, consult those aligned with your purpose. Share facts, not complaints. Invite perspective, not pity. One clear suggestion from a steady mind can restore weeks of confidence. Let this affirmation strengthen you in the middle stretch. My mind obeys my declared purpose. I nourish faith daily. I dismiss fear as intruder. Speak it when doubt attempts entry. You must also renew your emotional attachment to your aim. Desire fades if not fed. Revisit why you chose your chief purpose. Recall the dissatisfaction that preceded it. Recall the vision that inspired it. Let that vision become vivid again. Picture yourself 12 months from the beginning of the year. See the change in income. See the change in bearing. Hear others speak of your discipline. Imagination guided by purpose is workshop of achievement. Imagination unguided becomes theater of fear. The middle months are not time for expansion into new ambitions. They are time for deepening. Many men, upon achieving modest progress, become distracted by fresh opportunities. They divide their attention again. They dilute force, remain concentrated. Concentration over time multiplies power. Within these 120 days, you will notice subtle transformation. Your habits will begin to feel natural rather than forced. Rising at the appointed hour will require less argument. Performing defined acts will feel customary rather than strenuous. This is evidence that habit is forming. Habit is destiny in rehearsal. Others will observe difference in you during this period. They will say you appear calmer. They will note that you no longer speak impulsively of abandoning plans. They will sense steadiness. Steadiness attracts trust. Trust invites responsibility. Responsibility increases opportunity. The middle of the year is where most men lose 10 years of potential. They abandon effort when results are forming beneath the surface. If you endure this stretch with discipline of thought and reinforcement of belief, you will compress years into months. Consider again my son, who was born with severe limitation of hearing. Had we accepted the initial verdict of impossibility, his life would have narrowed accordingly. But through repeated suggestion, through persistent belief, and through organized effort, limitation yielded. It was not immediate, it was cumulative. So it is with you. The